Okay, let's talk about slope-intercept form today. Our learning targets for today, we have two. Students can identify the slope of the slope and y-intercept, and students can graph using the slope and the y-intercept. So I'm going to talk about how to identify it from an equation, and then also how to graph using just the slope and y-intercept. So it'll be another way of graphing. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll be moving on to the next slide. Okay, what is slope-intercept form? Well, slope-intercept form is the same as function form. And we call slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. So if you ever hear the y equals mx plus b, that is slope-intercept form. It's a very common form for graphing. In these, we have our y and our x represents our ordered pair variables. So those represent the points on the graph. So we have two other variables, m and b. M represents the slope of the line. So positive slope, negative slope, zero slope, undefined. That represents the slope of the line. B represents the y-intercept. The y-intercept, remember, is where it crosses the y-axis. So we're going to use these m and this b, and that's how we can find our slope and our y-intercept in our lines. Okay, so we're going to be looking for those 2 points in our equations. If you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll be moving on to my next slide. Okay, in example 1, pretty simple. Identify the slope and the y-intercept. In A, it's already in slope-intercept form, which it must be in slope-intercept form to answer these. So remember, it's y equals mx plus b. Okay, and so our m is our slope. So very easily, what's the slope of this line? The slope is 4. That's it. Okay, it's going to go up at a rate of 4. 4 over 1 or 4. Okay, the y-intercept, it's plus b. So since that is a minus 5, I have to know that for the y-intercept, it's the opposite of, so it's the opposite of 5, so that makes that negative 5. So that's what the minus 5 does, because it's supposed to be plus b, so if it's minus 5, then I could turn that into a plus negative 5, which would make my y-intercept negative 5. That's it, identifying them. Okay, in example B, it is not in y-intercept form, so it's the first thing you're going to have to do. So in order to do that, I first have to subtract 4x from both sides. It's going to give me negative 2y equals negative 4x plus 6. Then I'm going to divide by negative 2 to each term. That's going to give me y equals 2x plus negative 3. You also could have minus 3. That would be fine too. Okay, and then now we have to find our answer. Our slope is 2. Our y-intercept, negative 3. And there's your answer. And that's it. So you just got to put it in slope-intercept form and identify them. Okay, if you need to pause, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll be moving on to our last slide. Alright, graph using the slope and y-intercept. So to graph using the slope and y-intercept, you first need to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So in A, our slope, remember, is negative 2/3. And our y-intercept is 4. So here's how I'm going to graph them. I'm going to make my graph real quick. Okay, I'm going to put a bunch of little tick marks on it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the y-intercept. I'm going to graph that first. It's easy. Where does it cross the y-axis? The y-axis, remember, is your vertical axis. So it crosses right there. So I'm going to put my first dot there. Our slope is negative 2/3. If you think back to slope, remember that was the change in y's over the change in x's. Okay, so I'm going to put the negative with the 2, because the negative can either go with the 2 or with the 3 for negative 2/3. So what I'm going to assume that negative 2/3 means, alright, that's going to translate into 2 down. That's my negative 2. My numerator. Okay, 3 right. That's going to translate to my 3, or my denominator. Okay, so that's my negative 2/3 right there. So all I'm going to do is start from the point that I've already done my y-intercept. I'm going to go down 2 points. 1, 2. And then I'm going to go right 3 points. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to plot my second point. Do it again. Down 1, 2, right, 1, 2, 3. There is my graph right there. Okay, so you can actually just count using your slope and y-intercept. Okay, let's do example B. First thing I have to do is solve for it. So that's going to be plus 4x plus 4x. That's going to give me 2y equals 4x minus 6. Divide each term by 2, and that's going to give me y equals 2x minus 3. That means my slope is 2, and my y-intercept is negative 3. So again, I'm going to graph this. Okay, I make my x and y axis. Give me some more room on the bottom here. Remember, when you make your graphs, they don't have to be equal, tick marks on each side. Okay, so there's my graph. So I got my x and y axis. So first thing I'm going to do is my y-intercept is negative 3, so I'm going to go down to negative 3. My slope is 2, or 2 over 1, so that's y. So 2 means up 2, right 1. So I'm going to go up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. Okay, put at least 3 points on there. You can do more. It's like walking stair steps. And there you go. There's your line. And that's it. Okay. If you need to rewatch anything, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll see you in class and have a great night.